Ricky, you have been working almost your entire life with machines. How do you find the evolution of heavy-duty equipment, and what has changed over the years, good or bad, of course?
When I grew up in the construction business, my dad owned excavators that were cable-operated excavators. So I grew up changing cables on excavators, and I'm going to guess that a lot of your audience wouldn't even know what a cable-operated excavator was. So there were no hydraulics. Hydraulics really changed the industry. To be able to run equipment hydraulically, that was a game changer. So as a young man growing up, I remember my father getting his first hydraulic excavator, and it was just so much safer, so much faster, and so that was a game changer in the industry. And then beyond that, we used to do everything by sight and by hand, and then along came lasers, so that we could be way safer and way smarter, leveling ground and putting water pipe and sewer pipe in the ground with laser operated equipment. And so that was way more effective. And then a lot of safety standards started to happen too. Shoot, we used to go to work and we never wore hard hats. We never had steel-toed boots. We never had safety glasses. We never had ear protection, none of that. So all of that was kind of an evolution that I watched. And so I see things now that are just so much safer, so much more productive. And so I think that's been the evolution that I've seen.
Rick, tell us, why should people auction heavy-duty machinery? It's a rather new area for Romanians, but nevertheless an interesting concept. Yeah,
the place that auctions have in the market is, I think, number one, it's an expedient market. So it's not for all inventory, and it may not be for all companies to use the auction method. But the method is expedient in that within weeks, we can turn inventory that's not being used into cash. So that's a real plus. And there's a well-established market, even in Eastern Europe. There's enough auction business going on that the market's established. So it's not a market to be fearful of. It's fun. It generates competitive thinking. So I think that people like to compete for things. First and foremost, I think people like to buy and think they're getting a bargain, or at least have an opportunity to buy at their own price, at what they're willing to pay. So it works that way. And people actually like competing against their peers. So we can create a competitive place of business that has a lot of value, but it also has a market presence. So I like the auction business because it really is the pure market. It is what people are willing to pay in that moment for any particular item. So it kind of stands between a wholesale market and a retail market. And at times the results can be wholesale, and at times the results can be retail. And it really, the market kind of ebbs and flows almost daily.
Please address the message to all of our viewers here in Romania.
Well, from a construction industry perspective, I think that what I saw in Romania were projects going on all over the place. So I spent most of my time in Cluj and a couple of days in Bucharest. And I was amazed at all the projects going on. And so it looks to me like Romania is certainly on the fast track to improving their infrastructure, just going out at night, seeing all these new businesses that are opening up, taking what I found to be very interesting older buildings and converting them into restaurants and converting them into shops. And man, I thought, I was impressed that Romanians were keeping the old world kind of Eastern European charm, but also injecting some new ideas, some new technology, and just new ways of doing things into the country. So everywhere I went, people were talking about how exciting it was to be in Romania and how exciting it was to have the opportunity to start a business or be a part of a business in Romania. And from what I understand, that hasn't always been the case. And so I was impressed with the energy that Romanians had adopted.